America is constantly showing you that the race division is much bigger, has much more impact than the alleged gender division between men and women. Because these white women, think about Hillary Clinton, are not making the argument that we side with black people. When Hillary Clinton said that, let's just be honest, black men in hoodies scare people, she wasn't siding with the black community. She was siding with other white people that were saying, look, don't you also fear this? So if we say about politics on a notion that, well, she's a woman, right, and this is somehow going to do something for us because she's not a white man, then we're missing the whole point of how white supremacy works. White women have never been against white men. Never. People say, well, feminism was racist. Do you not know what that means? Feminism was racist not because it excluded black women from feminism. It was racist because it participated in white women gaining power over black people, which specifically at the turn of the century was making sure they had power over black men. And when black historians like Crystal Feimster tell us, look, it's pretend it's your ideology that tells you that white women were partners with black people. When white women said we wanted access to the political, so let's lynch black men too. When white women had Klan organizations, those were organizations to demonstrate their power politically over black men, because black men were fighting for the right to vote, to work, etc. So this is not a history where we see white women offering out a stick to black people saying, come on, let's move on together. This is a history just like Hillary Clinton, where she had the lead, and you saw Gloria Steinem came out and support her, where she was saying, look, you're not ready for a black man to lead you. But a white woman, we know this history. We can do this. We have power. We're your teachers. We're your mothers. We're your aunts, right? She appealed to the racial sentiment of white people as a white woman, not just a white person, as a white woman, in the sense that she was better to lead, more rational and capable than a black man. And we keep ignoring that, and now we want to have a conversation about Black Lives Matter, and that she was supposed to be an ally.
Last question before we let you go.
Yes,
how
sir.
dangerous is Donald Trump?
Extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. I mean, Donald Trump, he's comical, but he's the representation of what white people were literally trying to do in the 1920s, right? See, he wants to come in and create an ethno-class of whiteness and just call it Americanness. And he wants to close the borders. He wants to make everything function on a neoliberal model, and he wants to say that race and everything else are irrelevant because the ultimate goal is to make sure that America keeps its place as an empire. Now, to some people that sounds like a theoretical critique, but look, this is what it means concretely. If something's not profitable, say like Title VII or civil rights laws, he is not going to be in support of preserving that. He's already wanted to get rid of the 14th Amendment, which is due protection. So he wants to literally create kind of a social Darwinist view. So right now, black people who get killed say their due process was violated, right? And arguably their Fourth Amendment, but the Supreme Court's stuff on seizure, and that's sketchy. But that's generally what he wants to do. So the question becomes, what protections do people of color have in this society to protect themselves from any kind of tyranny under Trump? He wants to empower. I mean, think about it. You got people like David Duke supporting Trump now. So he literally wants to empower this root class of white nationalists, men and women, right? And you have feminists, because there are conservative feminists as well, right? The same women who were in the WKKK call themselves feminists of their day. These people want to use economics as the basis to completely erase all kinds of laws and social progress for any and every minority. He wants a xenophobic, protectionist nation. And while we're up here, and see, this is our fault. We're up here arguing, trying to appeal to Clinton, instead of making arguments to educate black people for why we have to guard against both Clinton and Trump. It's not just enough to say that Trump's a racist. That's not going to do anything. That's not persuasive in a world where people think everyone's a racist. But if we show people the vision of the country that this man wants, right? His policies, his ideas, his attitudes, that's different. But that's why I say we keep everything on the blog level. We don't want to do serious analysis and talk to black people.
But check out his latest game, because I like to listen intently and deeply in the things he talks about. Now, obviously, over the course of the first 2 or 3 months we've been in this conversation, it's been strictly, as you mentioned, It's been a capitalist conversation. It's about make America better, well, great again, which is basically make America white again, close off the borders. But now introducing to the conversation infrastructure.
Yeah.
Infrastructure. And so when you start talking about improving infrastructure in America, what are you doing now? You're starting to make independents and some Democrats pay attention and start to think that you're a viable candidate. I personally believe on one end that I don't think he wants to be president. I think that is too limiting to a man of his mindset. But I think him starting to talk about infrastructure, now I think he may think, well, maybe I can be president. And if this gentleman gets into that office as president, we are going to be in trouble between the fact that his lack of respect of just people. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a Hispanic. I don't care if you are. He can go out there and talk like that to the Russians and people in the Middle East if he wants, and we're going to be in a war within 18 months of him being in office. He is extremely, extremely dangerous. We keep on, this past week, there was, I think I heard Anderson Cooper had done this well thought out, planned out big thing on CNN about Hurricane Katrina. They cut away to Donald Trump to go at another press conference with Donald Trump. What he did with the gentleman, Hispanic brother, man from Univision, and cutting him off, telling him to go back. Jorge Ramos, go back to Univision, was so dismissive. And the fact that the more he does that, the more people are supporting him is what concerns me most.
But this is what I'm saying. What incentive, right, do white people, regardless of their ideology, conservative, liberal, feminist, etc., have to genuinely give up whiteness? See, if you think about it, if there was a world with Donald Trump, white people would say, I disagree with his politics, but he would help. He would end up even helping them. So you can disagree with him ideologically, but materially, Donald Trump's good for white people.
Yes, he is.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People don't care about. We want to get caught up in his ideology. The reality is, if he gets in office, white people go up a notch. And there's enough white people who are upset with Obama. There's enough moderate Democrats who just don't like black people enough. Think about all the Occupy Wall Street people, all these middle-class white people who lost their homes, right? They attach Obama to that. So here's a white man that says white people are great. White people are the future. Sure, the liberal white people don't want to be called racist, but when they're on those polls, when there's a question of whether or not America becomes another white republic again, when they're confronted with the fact that they're about to be a minority in 20 or 30 years, right? Who do they feel compelled to vote for?
Right.
And on the flip side of it, and the flip side of it is, on the other side, you got Hillary Clinton looking right at you. Somebody whose husband who participated in expanding the prison industrial complex. See, this election is going to be about the reaction that white people have to black people, specifically a black man. So all the language we have is not dealing with the fact that white people believe they've lost some in this country, that economically they feel like they're worse, even though the country's bounced back under Bush, right? It's about the psychological perception that materially they've been disadvantaged. So do you vote for the white woman? Well, we already know what feminists, white women, and black women are going to do, right? They're going to vote for Hillary Clinton, right?
Okay.
And then you have the white nationalists on the other side, or conservatives as we call them today. And that's our politics, but nobody's given us that analysis.
Wow. Man, this has been an incredible conversation, man. We gotta have you back on, brother, again.
Oh, not a problem.
6 months a year.
Absolutely, sir.
Because you've got a platform here anytime you want, and then we'll figure that out.
Appreciate it.
Oh, you got anything else before we let Tommy go? And before I go, Tommy, where can people follow you? Facebook, Twitter, where you're writing, all that good stuff.
Yeah, they can hit me on Twitter at DrTJC, at Dr. TJC, or they could Google me. My academia account is open. They can read any of the stuff that I write and hear any of my commentaries on any kind of social issues they like.
Dr. Tommy, man, we appreciate you, brother, man. We'll have you back on soon. God bless, man.
All right, bro. Appreciate it.